things happen when they should. Folks will make decisions when they're ready. Those
Facts.
listings will come to you when they're ready. That one took 4 or 5 years to really, really learn that one the hard way.
My name is Kevin McIntosh, and this is The Closing Table, where we talk to experts about their experience in real estate all across the country. Let's go. Welcome back to The Closing Table. I am your host, Kevin McIntosh. Joining us on this episode today, we will be speaking with Jaimie Schmidt. How you doing, Jaimie?
I'm doing great. How you doing?
I'm doing just wonderful. Thank you for asking. For real. We doing getting closer to the springtime, and I know that's going to affect the real estate industry and market. We're going to get into all of that. Let's go ahead and start with your background. I want you to kind of give us a little bit of insight and describe your background prior to entering real estate.
So growing up, I grew up in a family full of artisans and carpenters, and deeply entrenched with history and antiques. And that kind of grew into when my working life, I did a lot of customer service. I did the typical McDonald's drive-through. I even worked at Jo-Ann Fabrics for a long time, so that really fed the creative flame. And nice. I did that for probably almost 20 years. So I got really good at being able to listen to people, listen to the things that they're striving to do, but may not quite be able to verbalize, and then to be able to help them creatively find solutions to get to their end goal, which really helped to get into real estate.
Nice. So do you consider yourself to be a pretty creative person?
Yeah. Nice. Problem solving is one of my strong suits, and that with the creative background, it kind of helps to foster success in a lot of different ways.
There it is. I love Jo-Ann Fabrics, by the way. This is not a plug. Jo-Ann Fabrics, Michaels. I have my small business where I make apparel, so I go there for vinyl, all apparel, all types of stuff. So kudos to you on that.
Thanks.
Let's shift into real estate now. You joined or you became a real estate agent in 2012. Am I getting the Okay.
Yep.
And you were in the greater Ann Arbor area. What a very interesting market that is at University of Michigan. Let's talk about the biggest lessons you've learned over the 10 plus years you've been a real estate agent.
So there are two big ones. And the first one is patience. That's a hard one to learn. Things happen when they should. Folks will make decisions when they're ready.
Facts.
Those listings will come to you when they're ready. That one took 4 or 5 years to really, really learn that one the hard way. Lots of tears and frustration.
I get it.
And the other big one was, I don't have to be the kind of agent that is drilled into you, the stereotype. I can dress comfortably. I can, still be professional and act comfortably. I can be the relatable face that folks tend to really gravitate towards.
Right.
I don't have to drive a fancy car. I just have to be me and speak to the people who want to listen. Yeah.
That is very true. That speaks volumes, Jaimie, because let me tell you, there's this kind of a misconception, I guess you want to say, of what a real estate agent should look like, sound like, and drive and things like that. I'm not going to have a real estate agent where my house is better than theirs or whatever, or someone who doesn't own a home themselves. There's so many misconceptions as to what you would expect or the standards you would have for a real estate agent as to, what they really are and what they can accomplish for you. So having that type of mindset to kind of break free from, I don't have to have a suit all the time. The different realtors we've had on the show just kind of proves that. So I like that you also head in that direction also. And patience. Yes. In all aspects of life. If you don't learn patience early, you will get humbled. So yes, Jaimie.
Very quickly, and my dad. Yeah.
You consider yourself an old house junkie. This is a new term. So let's get into this. What do you consider first and foremost to be an old house? Because I think of old house, I'm thinking raggedy and beyond repair. Let's talk.
Those are included. Those are included. So technically, an old house is anything that is 50 years or older. And in terms, you think about mid-century modern, those are technically old houses. I prefer things that are in the like 1930 and before.
Woo.
The materials, the construction styles, the way that the houses were designed are completely different than they are now.
Right.
I call myself an old house junkie because I get really, really excited about it, which apparently is infectious. That's what I've been told. But yeah, it's definitely my passion. Yeah, I like to say that it's not just the fancy houses with a plaque out front. It's those raggedy, rundown houses out in the middle of, the
Yeah.
country.
Yeah.
It's all kinds of old houses. It doesn't
Yeah.
matter. Yeah.
So let's further go into this, because this is what is it about the older homes that you really like? Why do you advocate for them? Is it, you said the structure is different, but is it better? Like, does that like withstand more natural disasters than the current homes? Or let's really get into that. Why?
So when I started in 2012 with my family background and my special interest with history and old homes, I noticed that there was this gap, and I saw a need and filled a need. I realized that there are not a lot of agents out there who are really educated on the whys, the construction materials, the nuances that go into old homes, and then connecting a new generation of people who need the education about those properties, how to become historical stewards, and then maybe even later connecting them with the appropriate types of tradespeople who are specialized to work on old homes rather than what happens sometimes, and to help foster a new generation or generations of people to care for these properties going forward. I always say that a house, it's not just a house, it's a backdrop where life happens, and you then get to become part of that backdrop and that story. A lot of people really
Nice.
like that.
Man, what a perspective that is. I like that. I like that. What's been your favorite? What's been your favorite home, historical home, or favorite moment, or let me get this together. Memorable property. Excuse me. There we go. What's been your favorite so far? How would you describe it?
There have been a few. There have been a few, and it's a mixed bag between the property and the type of people and emotions that come with the property. I had, speaking of one of those little houses out in the middle of nowhere, it was in dire need of full renovation and restoration, and my clients bought it, and they proceeded to then later get featured in This Old House magazine. I was thrilled. I don't want to speak to the specifics, but then I have other clients who buy like this amazing brick Italianate nearby, and I get to live vicariously through them. I even just recently had a listing that was an Italian villa. Sounds so fancy.
I know,
I
right?
helped the sellers for 3 years get that property ready with suggestions and guidance. I even went to an architectural salvage store to buy the chandelier that went in the dining room. It was a full journey, and it was so much fun. It was so much fun.
3 years you spent with the
Yeah.
client to help them sell a home. Now
Yeah.
you got to take it a different direction. Is this the longest that you spent with a client? What made you want to stick with them that long?
So they very much believed in the value that I could bring to the table, not only with the helpful suggestions. I picked out the paint color. I helped them with the vanity, the flooring, the fixtures, the
Okay.
suggestions on where they needed to focus their energy. But then I also discussed with them the fact that I could bring this additional level of value to their listing that most agents aren't able or prepared to be able to do.
Gotcha.
You know, because there's, other than financial value, there's also the historical value, the
Mm,
emotional value, the
mm.
ability to think about sensory issues when, listing the property. And all of these things translate into connectedness with potential buyers, getting that emotional development within them helps to bring additional interest, which then translates into higher value. And they saw
Oh.
that and they stuck with me, and it was great.
Oh wow. Okay. Well, look at you with the vision and bringing it all together, man. That's actually a gift or a skill in itself for you to have a vision for what it could be and look like, and what the
Yeah.
value could be, and then to translate that for your client to see it also, and them to believe in that. That's a gift and a skill in itself, like that. So wow, I gotta kudos to you for that, Jaimie. That's pretty nice. Well, okay.
Thanks.
So has there been a situation where maybe you want to sell a house, an older house, but like as you're going through the process, you start to realize maybe this house isn't livable. Maybe it's too old. Have you ever come across a too old house?
No, no.
Really?
Yeah.
Uh,
So luckily in the state of Michigan, we don't have a lot of too old houses, just because of the occupation era. So we don't have a lot of those. I have run across houses that needed significant renovations,
I bet.
significant. Like the one that was in this old house magazine, they gutted it. It was gutted, but it's gorgeous now.
I bet.
Every once in a while, I take that back. I saw one house, one house. I walked in, I did my assessment. I walked out and I said, that house needs a mat. Once, once. Yeah, only once. But most houses are never beyond repair, even if it's been
Okay.
completely, all of the details, everything has been removed. There are things you can do to bring back that character.
That's
Yeah.
interesting. I just felt like you would say something like, "Oh, well, if the roof is completely caved in, or if the foundation is cracked, or such and such," but you say pretty much virtually no, everything is repairable.
Yeah, it's the way that the houses were constructed and the materials that are used. Say, for example, if it's a fieldstone foundation, those are
Mm,
highly repairable versus some of the materials that are used in modern builds, which is about 1970 to 75 and later.
correct, correct.
Um, have I been in houses that had roofs caved in and other issues where it's going to cost a pretty penny? Yeah, yeah.
I bet, yeah.
But I have the vision. I have the vision.
There
So
you go, Jaimie. There you
yeah.
go. There you go. So not only do you have the vision, but you actively repair and remodel your own property, correct? So have you
Yes.
ever had to repair or remodel parts of your client's potential home, like yourself? And if so, what did you have to do?
Yes, I have. I for liability reasons, I do try to minimize some of the
Uh-huh.
work that I do.
Hmm.
I have worked on dozens of clients' houses, and that could be anywhere from very specific guidance and suggestions, where it's a little bit hands off, to I had a 1923 craftsman that I literally went in and I redid the trim, I redid the floors, I had the whole house painted and helped paint it. Surface redid the kitchen, worked in the bathrooms, put in a new toilet, had to work in the basement. Like I've done it all. I've done it
And you were
all.
doing that?
Yes.
Oh my
Yes.
goodness. Oh
Yeah.
my goodness.
Um, my husband is wonderful. He also helps. He's a jack of all
Okay.
trades as
Okay. There
well.
you
So
go.
we both work on houses as well.
Mm.
Luckily, he's fantastic, and I've learned a lot from him over the years. But yeah, I do try to do a little bit of hands off with some clients' houses, only because it one, I have to delegate sometimes, which is not a bad
Right.
thing.
Right. Right.
And two, we want to minimize the amount of money spent in comparison to what our goal is. So,
Correct. Correct.
depending on the market, sometimes just cleaning it up real good is literally all we need to do. Just depends on energy and money. So,
Okay. Okay. So you spoke on the liability reason as to why you wouldn't go so far. So what would be your limit? What is the most that you would do? Would that be what you did as far as the toilets and the paint and everything, or would you go a little bit further?
It depends on the situation and the client. So if
Oh,
it's a buyer, okay, if it's a buyer who is purchasing
okay.
a house that isn't closed yet, like for example,
Right.
you have to do it for lending purposes.
Uh-huh.
Not only do we have to get very specific written approval from the sellers to be on the property and making changes, which I don't overly suggest unless you really have to.
Mm,
I really try to focus, if I have to put an expenditure of my own energy more onto the seller side. And
okay.
it requires very specific conversations. A lot of times, like I've helped clients paint, I've helped them pack stuff. I even had one fantastic gal that I helped list her house, and she wasn't in a position to be able to do any hiring or anything. I was out there in my overalls painting her front step and her front door and the
Ooh,
basement and the bathroom, and it's what it takes to get it done. I'm going to
I
do
get
it,
it.
you know?
I get
And
it.
her
Yeah.
gratitude was amazing. It was amazing. And that's why. That's why I do it. It's the gratitude.
There you
Um
go.
but yeah, I try to delegate as much as I can because I have our own house that we have to put our energy into because that's
Mm-hmm.
one of the many houses we're redoing is our own house. So
Nice, nice. Let's talk about numbers, Jaimie. Got some statistics for you.
okay.
Let's see how you do on these. All right. So they say over 1/4 of student loan debt holders say that their debt has impacted their decision or ability to purchase a home. We're talking about 29% exactly. Now, do you see student loans impacting some of your clients' ability to purchase a home? If so, how do you help them overcome that?
Sometimes, yes.
Mm,
Especially folks who are looking to, kind of scale up. Surprisingly, throw a little knot into it. Recently, we've actually seen, or I have seen, more people get impacted because of their car and truck loans because those are so
uh,
high right now.
man.
Um, yeah, so it takes a lot of creative problem solving, some and mitigating expectations.
Okay.
So if they have to wait a little while, we wait a little while. If they have to
Mm-hmm.
look maybe slightly farther out where it's slightly more affordable, we go that route.
Right.
Cosigners, other options, there's a lot of ways to work around it. But yeah, we see a lot of issues more so with car loans.
Yeah. Yeah, yeah. See, and I asked that question because you're in the Ann Arbor area with Eastern Michigan and U of M. So I would kind of think that maybe some of those graduates would want to stay in that market, and then they would face that type of problem.
They
But the
do.
car issue is such a big one. That's like one of the biggest no-nos. Not to purchase a
Yes.
car before or during the transaction of purchasing a home. That's
Yeah.
going to like your debt to income ratio is going to skew. It's so many factors to that. Me personally, I'm a big fan of taking out the cash and just buying a used car if you can. Just make sure it's good. That's me. That's my whole life. Still to this day, no finance a car. And that's one of the
Yep.
major reasons. So yes, please, folks, take notes. No car purchases
Yes.
while trying to get a home. 86% of buyers recently purchased their home through a real estate agent or broker, and 10% purchased directly through the previous owner. Why do you believe people are choosing to purchase a home without a real estate agent?
Two reasons. One, lack of education. It's just
Mm,
not something we talk about in schools. It's not a piece of information that, knowledgeable parents pass down to their kids. It's just not readily available. And the second reason is because where that information is available, it's not done with in relatable spaces. So, and we're noticing actually a turn in that tide. So, a lot of us agents are flocking to, social media to be in front of the people.
right,
And
right.
previously, like when I first started, there was no agents marketing, hardly any, on social media in
Yep.
putting yourself in front of the faces that it needs to be seen. That
Hmm.
that is turning. It's turning, but those are part of the big reasons.
Mm. So it's mainly, I guess from that answer, it kind of seems like maybe the realtors weren't doing what they were supposed to do to really just put themselves out there more than the buyers really just doing the actual search. Is that what you're saying?
So it's not so much that they weren't doing it, they just weren't doing it in a way that gets in front of the people who need to see it.
Okay. I see what
Like,
you mean. I see what
think
you
about
mean.
where all of the buyers who are, the 25 to 40 or
Mm-hmm.
the age bracket, where do they spend their time? A
On their
lot of them on
phones,
social media,
social
on their
media. Yeah.
phones. And you want to be a relatable face that they can engage with, they can identify with, who then will listen to you. So
Mm.
that's how you educate and connect with people.
Okay. Got another stat coming your way. By the way, just to cite my source, these statistics are coming from the National Association of Realtors. I think most of the data is backed up as of January 2023. But for all sellers, the most commonly cited reason for selling their home was desire to move closer to family and friends at 21%. Number two, moving due to retirement at 11%. And tied at two for 11% was the neighborhood has become less desirable. What other reasons have you found your clients wanting to sell their home?
A lot of folks just wanting to size up and down. Our lives have kind of been flipped over in the last couple of years, so the needs and the demands are changing. I also see a lot of folks need like a creative space, whether it's for they've dived into a new craft because
Okay.
of the last couple of years. They need an office at home or for homeschooling. Or if you're like me, you finally just wanted to get that old house and it's time to move.
Yeah. I love it. She is advocating for the old houses, ladies and gentlemen. I love it. So since we spoke on social media, your social media specifically, I love it, by the way. Very intriguing. You have creative, aesthetic appeal and perspectives. Like the way you would take a picture of the ice on like a leaf or something like that. Like it takes a very specific creative vision there. How do you utilize your creativity to your benefit as a realtor?
I like to do something called passive marketing. I put a lot of me out there. So part of how I feel it's important to really get in front of the people who need to see it is you need to be yourself. You are not only are you a realtor and a brand, but you are a person. And part of why people want to hire you is not only because of your bank of work, but what I like to call the vibe check. Like they need to know that you as a person not only can do your job, but you're creative, you're interesting, you can
Yeah.
have conversations with, you are a living, breathing person with a life that cares about their life. So you
Correct.
throw a lot of components of yourself out there with just little drops and reminders that you're a realtor in there and
I love
how
it.
your job is interesting and how you're interesting, and you engage and entice people that way.
Facts. Very, very good reason. Stay on social media, be active on social media, and show your point of view on social media. This is a little bit off the board. Let's take Jaimie outside of being a realtor. What do you like to do outside of real estate, outside of looking and gazing at old homes? Who is Jaimie outside of real estate?
Besides a mom and a wife, all that obvious stuff.
Mm-hmm.
I like to do weird stuff, like our house. I like to dig on the hill. It's all over my Instagram.
Really?
There's old, found treasures and trash. I find bottles and advertising, and I love archaeology. I also am a crafty person. My goal this year is to learn how to knit or crochet if I find the patience for it.
I get you.
Yeah. And working on our house,
Right.
whether it's paint or restoring windows, it takes up a lot of time, but it's very fulfilling. So.
Okay, good. There you go. Bring it full circle. You got your life outside of real estate that is your life. Advocating for old homes, ladies and gentlemen. If you want to know more about old homes, that's who you talk to, Jaimie Schmidt. Jaimie Schmidt, take this time right now. If you have any last words and or want to tell the people how they can reach out to you, please do so now.
So you can find me on Facebook and Instagram. You can also find me at findingyouhome.com.
There it is. There it is. Jaimie Schmidt, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you so much for joining us here on the closing table, Jaimie. Hey, you watching on YouTube, do us a favor, me and Jaimie, hit the like button for us if you gotten this far. Also, there's a little rectangle, hit the share button and subscribe to our channel. And also, if you're listening on Apple, Spotify, or any other podcast platforms, please do the same. Give us a like, a 5-star rating, and also subscribe for our latest content. Jaimie, before we get out of here, I like to ask our audience a question. Leave them with a thought-provoking message. How about this? What is the biggest repair or renovation work that you've done on a home or that you're willing to do on your home? Let us know in the comments below. Other than that, we'll see you next time.